And now, live from Dining Room Studios in Hollywood, California, it's the Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Alison welcomes her guests. Fresh from Palm Springs and smelling of sunshine, chlorine, and Skittles is Jenna Kim Jones. America's sweetheart, Alan Moss. And lock up your maintenance vehicles. He's a real heartbreaker, specifically his mother's. It's Greg Heller. Renaissance man Chef Jeff is here to skip around and play with his recorder. I'm Alison's husband, Daniel, reminding you that everything is fatal and all things will end. So hop on board the love bus and say hello to your new best friend, Alison Rosen.
Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her the good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little caramel apple slices. It's me, Alison. Welcome to another exciting episode of Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. I would like to say hello to my guests, but first I would like to apologize to my husband. I was giving you some guff about the intro, and I think that you did ratchet up the energy all the way. But I wonder if I ratcheted the energy up so much that we lost some of the meaning, and maybe you were right the first time, although I did think that was great.
I have no idea what you want. I'm just ratcheting the energy now. It's just 10 all the way.
Greg Heller, hello.
Hi, how are you, Alison?
I am great. I'm going to say hello to all my guests and then quick sidebar with you. Jenna and Al, I'm so glad you guys are back. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the last episode. Don't tell me if you did or didn't. But I neglected to explain where you were for like the first half hour.
Yeah.
We listened. Yeah.
And I feel like such a shitheel.
Why? It's okay.
I was good with it.
We weren't there.
Because I missed you guys.
Oh, thank you.
But more than just me missing you, the audience missed you. And I'm sure the whole time they're like, where are they? And I just was so carried away with whatever we were talking about that I didn't stop to like make it clear to everyone what was going on.
We
But
got
anyway,
an email from you saying something how you were going in a different direction. You weren't really sure.
Yeah, and
so.
you know, we just, okay, well.
no, I said I didn't mean that. I meant that for someone else.
Oh.
Daniel,
Got it.
Yes,
didn't you get my email?
I did, yes.
Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Alison. How are you?
I don't know. I don't know how I am. Anyway, I'm so glad you guys are back.
Thank you.
I want to hear all about your trip. Daniel, I love you. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. In my defense, I'm on a lot of drugs right now. So we are doing IVF, like the full-on IVF, which means I give myself 4 shots every day. It's a whole crazy process.
Pretty crazy.
And I think today my emotions have really taken a hit because I've been all agitated and now I'm just a total bitch. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, Greg, what I wanted to ask you though, you are a producer and you said that you've directed VO sessions and things like that.
Many. I did Behind the Music for many years with the famous Behind the Music dude. Yeah, I sure did.
Oh, man.
That's true. He's an interesting gentleman and difficult to direct, but very good at reading VO. Very, very good.
Who is?
The guy who does voiceover for Behind the Music.
Okay.
Very, very, very good.
Did I give Daniel bad advice? I'm putting you in an awkward position. Welcome to it.
The trick to giving VO direction is you have to be able to clearly explain to the person exactly what you want. So sometimes when you just say bigger, smaller, like you're not really explaining. You have to explain to the person where and exactly what you want. Or sometimes you just kind of sound
bitchy.
You have to be very specific about the exact things that you want emphasized.
Right.
Sometimes,
yes, that's the problem, is that I'm not being precise with what I'm suggesting be emphasized.
Daniel, would you be comfortable with a line read from your wife?
I wouldn't. I don't care.
Like, for example, Jim Forbes, the Behind the Music guy, you don't give Jim Forbes a line read.
You know what's weird? And Jenna does VO stuff too.
Yeah.
I know there's this thing against line reads because when I did a voice for an animated thing, for Animated Pilot. Yeah, Animated Pilot. And the guy was like, I'm not going to give you a line read, but, and I was thinking, just give me the line read. I would like to know how you would like to hear it.
Do you care?
I don't care. I'm all for it because I'm in the sooner we get this exactly right, the sooner we're all out of here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just tell me what you
how
want.
you want it.
Right.
Down to, I mean, you can tell me down to like literally half a word, how you want that one word, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and I'll just mimic it. 'Cause
Right.
That's why I'm here. What is the thing against doing line read? Against giving them? Is it that you
Well,
don't
the
give an
thing-
artist?
Yeah, the thing against same thing with actors. The same thing against giving them a line read is it's part of the process is their interpretation.
Yeah.
Right? That's part of the creative process, sort of. Really, they're just toys for the director and the writers. But part of their supposed process is my voice matters. So you have to pretend that it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also with actors, they're trying to find something real about it, and if you give them a line read, it becomes mechanical.
Yeah, that can also be very true too. Sometimes their line read they'll just sort of spout back to you like a machine, exactly what you said back to them, and
Yeah.
you'll lose some of the human element of it.
So Daniel, what's your motivation?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really what you
Where's the
Please my
artistry?
damn wife.
Okay?
That's the motivation.
That works.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to suggest your motivation is like, okay, here's the show, and here's who's on it.
Oh, that's good. Here's
that
the
good?
show. And now, live from Dining Room Studios.
That's not a line read. I'm
On
just
NPR.
telling you your motivation. It's that
Sassy.
Here
I think you're
comes the
trying to
show.
get my motivation to be anger.
Is it working? No, I wasn't trying for that, but I feel like if it worked,
Well, here's
go
the
with
direction you
that.
gave me: more energy.
That's always my direction.
Now, the energy the note that you'd given me before, because we did a warm up, just behind the scenes here. We did a warm up, and I tried to give you more energy because that was the note from last week, and I was giving you as much energy as I could give you, and then when I was done, you're like, "That's good, but maybe more energy."
You know, I think
And it's
some
like,
of
how? What am I
That's
supposed
not
to just?
what I said.
What did you say?
What I said was, "That's good. You're gonna ratchet it up when we do it for real, right?"
Yeah, which I was ratcheting up as much. So
I figured you were holding a little back because it was rehearsal.
Listeners.
That's how rehearsal works.
if you are just skipping forward past that intro now because it's hurting your ears,
Well, that would be
it's not
Jeff's
my
problem.
fault. It is not my fault.
I've said to have I not said, don't worry about hurting their ears because Jeff can do the levels.
See that? She doesn't care about your ears.
That's
My
not the
goodness.
case.
There is so much sassiness on this side of the table tonight. You guys are rubbing off on each other.
You know what you should do next week is roll on rehearsal. Roll on it. Because it
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
your best read. Roll on rehearsal. Always roll on
I always
rehearsal.
act like rehearsals are live. That's
Right.
That's how I do it.
Well,
Listen,
in
I
fairness,
had to sweat him to get him to do a rehearsal this
Right.
week. So
Tonight was the first-
baby steps.
tonight
Yeah.
was the first time we did a rehearsal.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the one time I've done a rehearsal, I did it as though it was live.
Do you feel like Greg? But wait, did everyone feel like the rehearsal was better than the real one?
I was more engrossed in the dynamic between the two of you than I was in the actual read at all.
I thought
right.
your rehearsal was good.
I
Thank
did too,
you.
actually.
Thank
When you
Better?
finished
Yeah.
Thank you.
When you finished the second
Personally,
time,
yes.
yeah, I kind of felt like, why didn't we record that?
I
first
know,
one?
and
Yeah.
that was, but I will take that one squarely wherever one takes one. That's my fault because instead of being like that was perfect, and honestly, it probably was pretty close to perfect. I was like, more. And so then we just got the musical equivalent of hitting a crash cymbal the whole time, which is what I thought I wanted, but I guess I don't.
Well,
I'm
you often
sorry.
don't know what you want till you hear it or see it.
That's right. And it's
That's
frustrating
you.
for everyone involved, but including me.
That's right.
Listeners, welcome. I'm sorry. How has everyone been? Anyway, something interesting happened. Oh, yes,
I think
hi,
that
Jeff.
I'm getting a contact high off of your
Drugs?
Drugs, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Boy, that follicle stimulating hormone makes you loopy.
Yeah.
Oh, and Greg,
Yes.
you had said that maybe you were going to do a different drug each time we do the show. But it
That's-
seems like you're just on nothing now.
I'm a tiny bit high,
Oh,
but just like I was high 2 hours ago, but I'm not high anymore. And I would actually be drinking really heavily right now, but I didn't have enough time to go on a beer run before we came over here. So maybe next week, I don't really do that many more drugs. Maybe I'll do Xanax or something next week. Would that help?
I think that wouldn't help.
That would not help.
I mean,
That-
I don't know. How does it affect you?
I kind of fall asleep a lot.
No,
It's bad
don't
radio.
do that.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I don't know about that.
That-
One
that's
of the
good
worst
luck.
part
Okay.
about not doing hard drugs anymore is you don't get to do them for stuff like this or for like anything ever
Yeah.
anymore. But it would be really fun to be here on shrooms.
What were the hard drugs that you did?
Which ones are there? I did most of them.
Okay.
I did most of them. I was a big, just thrown right into it. I was like so into working with Alison because of how honest she is.
Yeah.
But then I forgot that now I have to
Now
be that honest.
you're in the hot seat. Yeah.
I was a very heavy psychedelics user. Very, very heavy at a very early age. I went to boarding school. Did anybody go to boarding school?
Oh, wow. No.
For 2 years, which is just basically like throwing your kids into an acid farm.
Where?
Near Santa Barbara. A school called Kate, just south of Santa Barbara.
I know a lot of people that went
I had
there.
one of those like, you should probably go here, you're going here kind of thing with my folks.
Because you were getting into trouble.
I was getting into trouble. And so I got really into those and then other things like a lot of pills and stuff after college and some other... I tried everything. I've never smoked crack.
Well, that's,
Why draw the line there?
Because that was the only drug that I thought if I smoked it that I could die the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've smoked crack. Well, accidentally.
What?
You know this story.
I think I
Allison.
know the story, yeah.
I have a friend who had mixed. He had made homemade his own crack because you can do that. You can make your own crack.
I know nothing.
I
so
don't think there's another... You can't harvest it. I mean,
Well, you can
have
buy
to
it.
make it.
You can buy it,
Right.
but it's one of the. It's
You're
a real
buying it that
It's a real
someone else made
DIY
it.
drug. I mean,
Right,
you
right,
can.
right.
Yeah.
It's
You
an
just get
indie
some
rock
baking soda,
drug. Yeah.
an oven, some aluminum foil. It's really a doable thing. And he mixed it with pot, and we went to Vegas, and he was. They call that something where they mix the crack with the pot. and then
Cocoa
they smoke-
Puffs?
No, I forget what it's called. It's like ice or something like that.
Right.
But I didn't know he had done this, and so I was in the hotel room, and he was smoking, and we go out to the casino floor, and I was just feeling like completely like, oh my God. I was like, dude, Vegas is so crazy. It just makes me feel so overstimulated. And he started laughing so hard. He's like, like, you smoked crack. Yeah, it's like a very alert and yeah, it was not. I mean, it wasn't
Were you
a
angry?
normal. No, I wasn't. I didn't.
I've heard that crack has a very distinctive smell. I don't know what that smell
It probably
is,
does.
though.
I don't remember what it was though.
Wow. I can't really beat that. I smoked PCP a couple
I'm
times.
sure PCP is way worse.
One time,
Come
my
on.
mom found me slumped in front of the refrigerator, and I was chugging milk because I thought milk could detox me from PCP. and then I saw like a 7,000-foot dinosaur crawl across the sky at sunset. And I was high for like 15 hours.
That was PCP?
That was from PCP, yeah. And I had to drink like a quart of NyQuil to come down.
I had a roommate that would do PCP once. Yeah. Was it when you did it? Was it like a cigarette
He
dipped
did
in
it
it?
once, or you had the roommate once?
I had a roommate who would do it. He did it a few times.
Okay.
And he showed me
that's
a
how you do
cigarette
it.
that was like dipped in this
It's
blue
dipped,
liquid.
yeah.
Yeah. That PCP is the one that scares me the
Yeah, it's
most.
super scary. Don't ever do it.
Yeah.
It's really awful. I mean, it was weird. Yeah, I have. If you ever want to do a drug episode story, I would discourage you from doing one now. But I have many, many good ones if you ever want any.
Okay.
And I also have some horrible ones. Kids don't do them.
Yeah.
Do them for a while, but know when to stop.
Yeah.
Like stop in your 30s.
That's your advice to the kids? Do them for a while?
do them for a
Don't do 'em.
long
No,
while,
do 'em
and
for
then
a while.
sometime in your 30s,
then-
just stop.
I'm glad I did.
It's super easy. Whatever.
I wouldn't
Just
like
stop.
take those experiences. There's a few I would take back, but I wouldn't take back that many of them actually. I think
Yeah.
my brain is okay. I have a different brain than I did if I hadn't done drugs, I would be a different person. But I don't have any regrets about it at all.
And how would you describe your post-drug brain?
I would say that I have an openness to certain things that I didn't used to. And also, I would say that I am more prone to panic attacks.
Yeah.
But are you an addictive person though? Because I think my concern would be like some people. It seems like you kicked it. Like you could just stop, but some
I
people
actually
like
was
can't
never
stop.
really. I was kind of addicted to pills for a while.
Yeah.
And I am currently addicted to alcohol. That's supposed to be a joke.
I've watched
like,
too many
"Oh."
interventions
I
for
know.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that's what we're dealing with. Oh, boy.
Well, at least you're being honest.
Greg, if your behavior does not change, our relationship will change in the following ways. Thank you. Yes, I have an addictive personality. You never did any drugs?
No.
Neither one of us have ever touched drugs.
I grew up in Philadelphia as a kid and saw
Right.
some bad stuff, and I mean, from then on, it was
Yeah.
like,
Did you ever smoke pot?
no,
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you curious about it?
no, I'm really not.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't have any desire to. I'm kind of type A. Go to college, get a master's
Obey the
degree.
rules.
Go.
Do you have a fear of
yeah.
being out of control of yourself?
I would say he does, yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be. Yeah, I don't know what I would be like, because I saw like different types of drunks where some people are happy, some people are really sad, some like are kind of self-destructive.
Right. Have you been drunk before?
Mm-mm, no.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like crazy admirable, by the way, just because the
Well,
like
thank
almost. I guess I don't know like that much about your life, but it strikes me that there's an almost impossibility about it. Like you've
It would
beaten the
seem that way.
odds, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just never did it. Never did drugs.
Good for you. You're gonna live much longer than I will.
We'll see. I'll probably die at 45.
Yeah, right.
46.
No,
Yeah.
don't say
I live
that,
to be like
honey.
110.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
My grandma
I will
smoked
haunt you.
for 70 years.
That's
and
the
did
thing.
not die of lung
Yeah.
cancer.
That's the
You
thing.
just never know.
Yeah.
I think the fact that I don't have an addictive personality made me feel like I could do drugs more. I think I
See,
did
I
more
think I would have
experimentation
been
because
really
I got,
wild if I had, because I do have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
So I think I would
It's
have
good to
been
know yourself if you've got that
real
to
out
not
of
do it.
control.
Did you do all of them, Allison?
No, I did not do all of them, but I definitely did more than I think is okay. I think the way my brain is set up, which is just based on having grown up in the DARE era, I think I'm okay with drinking and pot. Although Daniel and I were just talking about this, as much as I think that pot is on the level of being essentially harmless, I find it to be really strong. The fact that people regard it as like it's like one drink, I'm like, I don't know what you're smoking or what I smoked back when I used to occasionally, and by that I mean more than occasionally, smoke pot, but I always found it very, very strong, and it altered me in a incredibly way too much way. I can't, and I sound like I'm stoned right now. I'm not even being articulate.
Yeah.
Like I would almost start hallucinating.
Right. Yeah, I think
fact,
it
one
got
time I
stronger
did.
over the years. Yeah, we talked about. Yeah, I think that when I was younger and just starting to smoke pot, I think that it was just you just get high. But I think over the years, I would get high occasionally, and just have crazy hallucinations, or just completely locked into myself, and it became very unpleasant.
Yep. Pot in the last 15 years or so has become super pot because it's all made in America now. So there are all these horticulturists that are just making crazy pot that makes old pot look like nothing.
Right. I think maybe I would have enjoyed the old pot,
I like
where
old
you just
pot.
smoke it and you laugh
Yeah.
Sure.
instead of get trapped in your body.
Yes.
My college roommate, we were roommates for 2 years. She was always super nice when she was like almost like, I mean, we were really good friends regardless, but like when she smoked pot, and it was only a few times that I ever really noticed, but I always thought like, you're so nice right now. Like she was so nice.
I think people who are stoned usually are nice.
Yeah.
I think
Just
if
like
there's any,
crazy nice.
I don't think I've
stoned
ever known
asshole.
anyone who's like
Yeah.
a bad stoner.
Right.
You have like bad drunks, but
Right.
I don't know that I've ever met anyone who's like, oh God, don't be around him when he's high.
Yeah.
I don't
Well-
think does that exist?
Yes, not because they're assholes, but they can say the same things over and
Well,
over.
they can
or
be
they'll get
annoying.
into it.
Right.
Yes.
They can be super
Exactly.
annoying, or like get into arguments with you where you're just like, I am arguing with a cat. Like I'm just going around in circles, and yeah.
Do not, by the way, get high with your parents.
have.
Have you ever? When I was like,
This is so amazing.
my
to me,
dad
you
is like
guys.
was a super heavy pot smoker when I was growing up, and when I was like 15, one time I went up to his house and he was like, "Do you want to smoke a joint with me?" So I was like, "Okay." We smoked a joint together. This is when my dad had a little bit of money and he lived in Malibu, and he was like, "Let's take a hot tub." So I was super stoned with my dad, which is already weird. And I go outside and I get in the hot tub and I look up and my dad is standing at the window naked.
Oh no!
And he opens the door and he climbs into the hot tub and he's completely naked.
Oh my god.
Like this was his moment for us. Like we're gonna bond like some primal thing. And I was just like, no, like one of those no's that goes up above the earth and you can see it from space. And that was the last time I ever got high with my dad.
Yeah, why was nudity necessary for the bonding?
I don't
think
know.
it was implied.
That was just like a thing that he was like father and son in like nature.
Primal.
Cox.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the end of it.
Is your
really.
dad like hippie generation or?
He's not. He is sort of a hippie, but he wasn't a true hippie. He was sort of like a businessman who sort of dropped out a little bit in the 70s and 80s. Not, I wouldn't consider him a true hippie, but his uncle his brother, my uncle, is a very serious, live in the hills of Carmel, grow your own vegetables, ride horses, hippie, hardcore.
Wow.
So there is some of that in our family.
What kind of businessman was your dad?
He had a small tax practice on Ventura Boulevard. And he did that he had that practice for 35 years. He was a CPA. My dad
He
was
was
a CPA.
the coolest CPA.
Yeah.
I would say he was a pretty cool CPA.
Chillest.
Actually, yeah. He was pretty cool.
If I don't do your taxes naked, you get 15% off.
Well, yeah, he does taxes once he works for 3 months a year.
Right.
He takes the rest of the year off to smoke weed with his son.
Did
and
you
get
say,
naked.
Daniel, that you had been stoned around
One
your
time,
parents?
yeah, one time I did. I think I came back from college one summer, and my stepdad and my mom are artists, and so it was always around. There were pot plants growing outside my bedroom
And
window
peyote.
my whole life. Yeah, and there's peyote in the backyard and stuff, and so it just was always around. But as a kid, I wouldn't. To me, pot was something that adults. It was just there was nothing rebellious or cool about it. To me, it was just ugh. All these loser adults are smoking weed, It wasn't cool at all. So I wasn't drawn to it, but I started smoking in college. And so when I came home, I think that summer they were in the studio and they were having a joint and they were like, "Hey, you want some?" I'm like, "Okay, I have to now," because who gets to say that they, smoked out with their folks?
Greg.
And
Yeah.
But it was just.
That
it was
sounds
just,
awful, yeah.
It was just now I'm high with my mom. It just isn't. No, it's not. You don't want to do that. I mean, it wasn't as good a story. No one got naked and got
Right,
in a
but
hot
I
tub.
totally, I understand exactly what you went through in that moment.
The feeling was just get me sober as quick as possible right now. I don't want to be here.
You guys didn't all put on a tight, or what is it? Happiness is a tight vagina or shirt.
Tight pussy.
Tight pussy.
I cleaned it up.
Kitten in a jar.
Yeah. No, I don't think my mom was really comfortable with all of it. I think it was mostly my stepdad who was the instigator of my pot smoking.
I have more questions about lifetime sobriety.
Sure.
So if someone said you can do one drug and there will be no physical repercussions to your brain or your heart or whatever, which one would you do?
Oh, if I had to do a drug?
Ooh,
Yeah,
I don't
it's hard
know.
for me to
Yeah.
phrase the question that way.
Yeah.
I guess I would say,
Yeah.
I was going to say if you got to, but if you had to do a drug, is there one you are curious about?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the weed thing, being super chill out, that's kind of appealing. Acid is always intriguing to me if people just totally tripping out.
Right.
So I guess those two maybe. Yeah.
Right.
I'd pick weed, I think.
Just because you want
Yeah.
to chill, you just want
Yeah.
to chill out because you're anxious. So
Very,
you'd wanna be,
very
way chill.
anxious. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
See, I've never done hallucinogens.
That stuff
Those
scares
are
the heck out of
yeah,
me.
they scare
Yeah.
me too. Because I think I'm afraid that you'll,
I'm telling you,
start
I think you
tripping
should
once
do
and
mushrooms.
you'll. I know you've always thought that.
I think mushrooms.
It's going to be
are
like
good.
Fat Donna from Dragnet. You smoke a little weed and then throw your baby in the bathtub.
I'm sorry,
Yeah. Am I
I'm
the only
stuck
person
on
who-
anything.
Yeah.
It's going to be like fat something. I didn't hear beyond that. Everything got real
you'll be the
hot
skinny
and
version.
loud. Yeah, what?
You'll be the skinny version.
Is that how old I am? I'm the only person that remembers the Fat
No,
Donna
it's a
episode of Dragnet.
legendary episode of Dragnet. Legendary.
I don't consider mushrooms a hallucinogen, though. Do you, Greg?
100%
Oh,
yes.
I thought
do?
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they?
hallucinate.
A salad topping?
They sound terrible.
Wait, we're talking about the ones you get at the grocery store, right?
I never have felt an effect from those.
I don't hallucinate really on them.
Really?
Yeah.
I have many times.
Yeah,
You
maybe
just have
you
to
eat
eat a
more.
bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not like an LSD or peyote
Yeah,
type
I guess
thing.
maybe
It's very-
that's it. It's not like you're having visions. of
Nothing will
things.
ever happen to you on mushrooms that is not real.
Right.
You
That's
would
what
never
I guess
see
that's what I
something
mean.
that does not appear.
Your consciousness
that is not actually
changes.
there. You would
So
see.
then, what are your hallucinations?
It's. I think it's consciousness changing.
yeah,
but it's not.
I would agree with Daniel. It's also like you might see things that already exist in a slightly different form, patterns or that kind of thing. But in the same LSD, you can see profound things that really kind of aren't there. Actually, you know?
Wow.
If you do a lot of it,
So exciting.
It does. See, I'm so curious about it, but
Yeah.
now would be the wrong time.
Yeah.
Now would
Yeah.
absolutely be the wrong time.
Now.
You're pretty busy right now. Yeah. Maybe
drugs.
not. Yeah.
Right.
Well, if we
Yeah,
end up
you need more drugs in your system right
Yeah.
now.
I know.
if we end up not being able to get pregnant, let's just take 6 months off and just do a shitload of drugs.
Deal.
All right.
Let's do that. Okay. Good plan. So something happened to me today that I want to share, which is, and people are going to groan, but I'm going to tell you anyway because it's about my butt. Got out of the shower, standing there in the bathroom, was no towel on. I was dry, just fresh from the shower though, and
Is there no music for this? You don't have a cue for
Yeah.
this, really? Okay, sorry.
There's a lot of poop.
No, there wasn't though, because I just showered. So,
pooped in the
not that there
shower?
was before. No, that came out wrong. Anyway, though, I was searching for this leave-in conditioner, spray-in leave-in conditioner that I'm certain that I had a whole bottle of, and now I can't find. So I was like, maybe it's in this one spot under this cabinet where there's some old hair products. So crouching down, trying to find it, and then Wendy comes behind me and is trying to sniff my butt.
Oh, no.
Which is a friendly thing that dogs
I
do.
know it is a dog thing, but I'm like, that's not really her, is it? It is?
That's definitely her.
She wanted to get, if she could have gotten her nose and her tongue like way in there, she would have. And here's what, it wasn't
Good
just
Lord.
like my butt cheeks. It was like she wanted all the way. And I was thinking, it's interesting. I just got out of the shower right now, like fresh from the shower. And yet my butthole is still
Yeah.
apparently emitting a smell that she can pick up. That's
I think
crazy.
that's a pretty objective review you got there.
What do you mean?
I think you know what I mean.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I hadn't considered. I like what Jenna's saying more, though, and Jenna looks disgusted right now.
Oh, no. I'm just taking it all in.
Okay.
Jenna,
I
will you
like-
give us the Mormon perspective on a dog licking a butthole right out of the shower? I'm just curious what the good book says about that.
You know, I'll have to get back to you. Google some things on LDS.org.
I've been there. They don't weigh in.
Right, okay.
It's not specifically mentioned.
I did some soul searching today. I think what Jenna's saying, that this is a social thing for dogs, that makes
Yes.
more sense.
Yeah.
Than
She's
that
getting to know
no
you.
matter what, I've got a stinky butthole.
You guys are like closer than ever right now in Wendy's eyes.
That's right.
The only thing that would have made her better
Is
is
if
you
I
sniffed
turned
her
around.
butt.
Well, actually, that happens often because
She sleeps with her head on my pillow and her butt on yours. So, yeah.
That's not what I was
So your
gonna say.
face is in her
What I
butt
was-
every night. She's just turning the tables.
yeah.
My snuggleberries.
What I was going to say is that sometimes we'll have to do like a butt check.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true.
And that
Yeah.
actually does involve
Yeah,
a
see,
little...
you set the precedent.
Right.
She's just like, this is
Yeah,
what we do
she's
around
paying
here.
it forward.
I do wish... It's true, though. At night, she sleeps curled up on Daniel, and I always wish that she would be on me, but she has no use for me at night.
Nope. None.
What percentage of people in America get out of the shower, have a dog almost lick their anus, and are like, this is good fodder for the show. I can't wait to talk about this in a couple of hours. Like,
I hope it's a
very
small
small percentage.
Yeah, that's what makes me special.
It's a very small percentage.
So, Jenna and Al, how was... You guys were in Palm Desert?
We were actually in Rancho Mirage,
How
which
was it?
is great. It was a fantastic vacation. It was the first time we were in Palm Springs, and it wasn't insanely hot. Usually it's, crazy desert nastiness. But it was
And
like
we came
80s,
back
70s,
more
80s.
pale than when we left.
That's probably
somehow.
true.
So
yeah, we do not get sun. It's pretty pathetic. But we hung out with a lot of old people. It seemed like we went to a few we went to get a pizza one night at this place, and I kid you not, we were the only people with not gray hair. It was crazy.
By like
it
50
was. I
years.
mean, it was at least a 40-year gap between us and every single person in the restaurant. And we walked in, except for the servers; they were young. And when we walked in, the hostess ran up to us and was like, "Are you guys going to be staying here? Are you gonna sit down?
Oh, my
Please
God.
hang out with us." We were like, "No, we're just getting pizza to go." And they were so disappointed, but it was really relaxing. I feel like Al and I have really mastered the art of not doing anything. So if you guys need any tips and tricks on how to be super lazy,
Well, I forget if I mentioned on the show or not. I've definitely talked about it in my private life that you guys, when you go away, you rent a house.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
now that's what we're going to do next time we go away.
Yes.
I'm so excited about this because
It's the best.
When you first mentioned that you rent a place, I was thinking back to when I went to Palm Springs as a kid and we got a condo and it was just this dinky little condo.
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
thinking, what's the appeal when you could stay at a hotel? But then we talked about it more and I saw some pictures of the places you stay. You stay in these super amazing, nice houses that have their own private pools.
Yeah.
We haven't gone yet, but I'm already feeling like, why ever go to a hotel again?
That's exactly why we do it, because you have a private pool. There's no, I mean, you're so
And
alone.
jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, you can just be ridiculous. Like, for example, we got into an argument. I don't know when the argument happened about how the end of Titanic is really lame, because not the whole jewelry part, but the part where she lets him die in the water because she won't let him on her door. That I really believed there was enough room for both of them. And then we saw there was like a tiny raft by the pool area, and we're like, we could totally try to see if this movie was fake or not. And we both got on the raft. And there was not
You did a
enough
Mythbusters on it.
there was not enough room. She
I was
did the
like,
right
"See?
thing.
She did the right thing.
Yeah.
Both
Was
died.
that
to
your
save one of them.
argument from the beginning?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You can't both get on the door or whatever because it sinks below the water.
But dropping that diamond in the ocean.
Well, that's
is
just
about to
ridiculous.
kill
Well,
me.
that is the
weird.
worst thing
Yeah.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that noise
Obviously.
she made.
The next thing is Bill Paxton pushing her in there after it.
Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the best.
You guys should rent a house. It's awesome. We were like in a gated community. No one could bother us. It was awesome.
We're looking
Daniel-
for the one that Riri rented for Coachella.
So if your dad shows up with his cock out trying to get into the hot tub,
That's right.
you don't have to let him in.
Exactly.
Daniel,
Nice.
tell them your concern, though, about the keys.
Oh,
It's a
well,
fair concern.
so yeah, it occurred to me that if they're renting these places out to a bunch of people, then someone can make a set of keys and then come back, sneak in, and murder you in your sleep. What say you?
Well, with the gated community, the first house we stayed in, they have keypads on the locks that are Bluetooth and connected to the
Oh,
internet.
that's good.
So they just send in a code that says your code for this week is this.
Oh, I like
And
that.
they say you have to be out by noon or else your code's going to expire. So
What
if you
about
forget
nanny
anything-
cams of the owners watching you?
Try to get on a raft
Yeah,
together.
Try to get
that's
on
very
that.
possible.
I hope that footage is not anywhere to be found.
But I
ever.
feel like, that could happen in a hotel room. It's happening in
true.
Chicago bars.
Yeah,
it
that's
happens
true.
anywhere. Two-way mirrors, all that stuff.
I'm way into this idea.
The trick
though.
is with out in Palm Springs, you have a spot where everybody's retired and they live somewhere else 6 months out of the year. So they're just renting their house when they're in their other
A
home.
lot of these houses you can rent have these elaborate game rooms. With even with the game where you shoot the basketball and it
yeah.
scores like with pool tables
Yeah.
and putting greens.
We rented a house that had a lazy river outside.
Yeah, it's
you
wild.
could just float in it, and this river would take you
I
around
love
the property.
this. Now, do you have the thought that I'm afraid we're going to have, which is this house sleeps 14 or 16.
And there's just two of
There's
us
just two of us.
Well, we've actually switched
that.
beds
every night.
in different houses. Like,
Oh, bed hopping.
Listen,
Wow,
I'm paying
Jenna and
for-
Alan.
I'm
I
paying
know.
for the cleaning service. We're going to use all these mattresses.
we're thinking maybe we should invite people up because it's just going to be too much for just the two of us.
We are, but
We don't
It's
know
fun
yet.
to do that.
Yeah.
We thought about that too, is having like another couple there or
Party.
something like that, just to use the space.
Yeah, because you
just
have
whatever
to.
wanna
The
do.
house is going to be huge, right?
Yeah.
There is no small
I
house
think
for
there
rent.
are
You can-
small
you can
houses.
do
There
small
are,
houses,
but we're not gonna get as small.
But for us, it was like, I want a
yeah,
big kitchen.
we had
I
a
want
4-bedroom
full
this
pool.
last time, which is like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so you do what you want, but for us, it was like we want all the amenities, and it's not that much more expensive.
Do you
for us.
barbecue?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
yeah, barbecue.
Yeah,
it has
lots of
it always has a
cooking.
fire pit, so
The
you,
fire
you can
pits,
do whatever
yeah.
you want.
Man.
And yeah, it's just super quiet and dead. It's awesome.
Did you go to the outlet stores on the way back?
No, but we went to all the consignment stores, and the Palm Spring consignment stores are ridiculous. It made me want to buy a house just to buy furniture. Just because it's like, there's a baby grand piano that's gorgeous and beautiful, and it's like $800. And you're like,
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
a
Are you
steal.
You know what
kidding
you don't
me?
see anymore are, I'm just thinking about this the other day, grand pianos hanging above the street, above the sidewalk that you could get crushed by.
No, you don't see
yeah,
that a
I've,
lot.
really
I've
see that.
never
Like
Yeah.
from
seen that.
cartoons or whatever?
Yeah. Have you ever
Like
seen
you never see a safe fall off a tall building
You don't
either
see safes
and smash
either.
someone into China.
Yeah,
But
sorry,
why
I
did
didn't
you
mean
see pianos? Where was this?
You know why you don't
Yeah.
see that?
TV.
Because they stopped making Looney Tunes and Three Stooges.
But that is how they get pianos into like a penthouse apartment in New York. I think
So if
there's
I
nothing
lived in
high
New York,
enough
I'd
here.
see lots of pianos hanging
I'm
above the
dodging
street.
them all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing I'm even
Never
here.
mind.
Right. Let's do iTunes comment of the week.
Alison wants your iTunes comments. Alison wants them, yes she does. Please leave her some iTunes comments and don't forget to click 5 stars.
All All right, this is from Kitty Flynn, a new BFF in my ears. I heard an interview with Alison Rosen as I was catching up on the Totally Lame archives. Totally Lame is a show that I did a while ago. I felt an instant connection with Alison and rushed over to her podcast. I love the open and honest conversations she has with her guests. I appreciate her transparency with her own struggles, varying from relationships, self-esteem to weird habits and driving quirks, as well because it makes me realize it might not be just me, it could be everyone. I feel like I'm sitting at the cool kids table when I listen to every episode. Well, thank you so much, Kitty Flynn. I think it's funny that people would say this feels like sitting at the cool kids table because that was never the table that I was invited to sit at.
I'm not sure any of us were at the cool kids
Maybe
table.
Greg.
Maybe Greg. Yeah,
I know.
Maybe Greg.
Were you popular at your boarding school?
I only went to boarding school for 2 years, for the record. After the second year, they were like, you're not going here for the third and fourth year. I was popular in junior high and high school, yes. I think I would be lying to tell you that I was unpopular. I
I've
sometimes
seen
feel
pictures
guilty
of
about
you.
that.
No.
Really?
No.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Because I work in comedy
Yeah.
where it was very uncool to be popular when you were
Sure.
younger. But I actually had like kind of a normal childhood. I just liked I liked unpopular music. But I wasn't like fairly popular. I surfed and I had girlfriends and all that. And yeah, I was popular. Sorry, I was popular.
I feel like you're judging us.
Good for you. Good for you.
But I never judged anyone. I had a mom who was very strict about that. Nobody was cool or uncool when we grew
Good.
up.
That's good.
Super, super strict
Yeah.
about it.
Well, thank you so much for your nice iTunes comment. If you would like to be an iTunes comment of the week, leave us a nice iTunes comment, click 5 stars. It's our favorite number, and then maybe we will read it on the show. Okay, so much more to get to. I finally saw Daniel's office. There were no cool snacks. That wasn't the
I
reason
never
I
said they were
went.
there every day.
As
You
was
made it
pointed-
seem like it. Let me just put that
Well,
out there.
you know.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel like we need to hear something snack related.
Snack Chat.
Thank you. As I said, maybe 20 minutes
You were also
in,
there after everybody left for the day.
Did they take the snacks?
Maybe.
I'm just saying I didn't go there for the intention of snacks, but when I was thinking while I'm there, maybe I'll catch something snack-wise.
No snacks.
And
You'll
there was-
walk in and out, and they'll be like, "Allison, open your mouth." And they'll just throw things in as you, walk
never
in.
know.
There was banana bread there today. You were to see? It was just
One day
off.
after
I know.
I was there.
This is the first time you've ever been to Daniel's work?
Yes,
Yeah.
although he's changing jobs.
Yes.
This is public knowledge,
Thursday's
yes.
my last day.
Right.
Yeah,
So I got
very
in
exciting.
just at the tail end.
Uh-huh.
I saw his office for the first time. It was interesting. You'd think I would have been there at some point before.
I know. Just never an occasion to come by.
No.
Or what you thought was his office.
Dun,
It was an
dun,
elaborate
dun.
sting.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised to discover there's a stag's head mounted on the wall.
Yeah.
Like a porcelain or a.
It's like
not
made out of
actual.
resin. It's a big
right.
fake stag's head.
Decorated with Christmas lights taken from this very apartment
Mm-hmm.
and a Rudolph nose. Also, was that part of our Christmas decor?
No.
Okay. Anyway,
was
though,
DIY.
there's a whole reason that you. I just thought, oh, fun.
Well, the lights
wall
were fun.
decor.
That was for Christmas, and then I just left them on there.
But I think you should explain why you have this and your intention in getting it.
Well, okay. I would say maybe a year ago or so. I don't know who listens to this, so I'm going to be cagey. But
Wait, let's have a conversation about that for one quick sec.
yes.
Do you not want to say it? Because that would be awkward. However, I would understand. However, I did
I'm just
say
not
you
gonna
should
use names.
mention this on the show.
I
and
won't
you're
use
like, yeah,
names.
okay.
Your wife just talked about a dog licking her anus. You know that, right?
Hey, that was her prerogative.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
So anyway,
But I
there's-
don't work with the dog.
Yeah,
Oh, it's also true.
Okay, so there was this guy at work who was licking my anus, and it was really no. Okay, I don't remember the specifics, but someone alerted me to the fact that there was someone at work, a guy at work, who was working behind my back to. He basically wanted my job, and he was feeding my boss with information
Snacks from the office?
Yes, with snacks, with kind of bullshit information to make me look bad, and which that would really piss me off, and so I decided to. Now this person, when he comes to work, when he goes to his desk, he has to look into my office. So I decided to redecorate my office to be more intimidating. Like I would have bought. I tried to buy a new chair that had a high back, and
An actual throne.
that was more throne-like, because I wanted to basically. Okay, I wanted to put myself in the mindset of being in a battle with this person, because if someone's working behind the scenes to try to get my job and fuck me up, I don't want to be acting like everything's cool. So,
Hence
but I also
the high
can't.
back chair.
But you also can't
Baller
be.
move, yeah.
You also can't be like directly confrontational that much, like unless you have something to go on. So I wanted to make sure that I was always in that mindset. And so I got a giant stag's head and put it on the wall. Listen, I'm not proud of this story. I'm just telling you what happened.
What else did you do? Did you get like a Braveheart poster or something? Did you do anything else to like man
No,
up
but
the
it's
office?
like if you walk into my office, I'm sitting there and it's like there's these giant antlers behind my head. So that it's like
And a Rudolph nose and
He's not even
Christmas lights.
human anymore.
So it's like you come at the king, you best not miss. But anyway, I shut that shit down too. I was very proud. Wow. Listen, you don't do that. You know, you don't try to fuck someone's job
No,
up
you
to try to
don't.
get their job and not expect them to
Redecorate.
their fucking office.
I can imagine like the first few times you walked in your own office, like, "What? Where am I?"
Well, no,
I know this
thing.
story makes me look like an asshole.
No, it doesn't.
It does. It's all right.
No,
it's all right. It was
confusing.
mostly. Let me
It's
just tell you.
confusing more than anything.
It was mostly to have fun with the situation. Like it's extremely stressful to know that someone is
Gunning
being
for
that
your job.
underhanded and doing things you don't know about. Like you can't. If someone's doing something behind your back, you can't stave it off. You can't do it because you don't know what's going on. You don't know the
Right,
unknown.
it's very passive-aggressive.
It's extremely stressful. And so to have fun with it, I decided to do that. I mean, I'm not that much of a douchebag that I was like really.
I don't think it is douchebaggy though.
No,
that's not
I
why
kind of like it.
Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
kind of
it's
smart.
amusing.
Actually.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a
But
lot of
I-
fun. It made fun out of it.
But I didn't.
And I squashed him like a fucking bug too.
The thing is, I didn't know about it till I walked in. And I had seen pictures, and I was just like, "Oh, how fun! He has a stag's head." I didn't know this was part of a whole strategy, a whole Game of Thrones
plot.
situation playing out.
right.
It was like the end of
You win or you die.
It was like the end of True Detective.
That's
I didn't
right.
see, but-
Carcosa. I should have put like lots of dry twigs around and animal skulls. Yeah, but
See,
anyway.
I didn't quite realize it was to get you in the mindset. I thought it was to send a message to him, and I know that I wondered if he received that message.
I can almost
He
guarantee
got an
you.
even bigger stag in his
Yeah,
office.
I can almost guarantee you that he did not get the message. I don't believe anybody understood what the hell Daniel Quantz was up to.
Okay.
He was probably
Other
more
than-
encouraged. Like, I'm gonna have that guy's job in like a week.
And I'm going to have a great thing hanging in my new office.
Yes,
I'm keeping that.
right. So,
Are you keeping it?
I think so. Although I don't think with my new job it would be appropriate to
Do
put it up
it.
necessarily. No.
First day of work. Hey, what's up? Where do I hang my taxidermy?
No,
Daniel, this is PETA. We don't do that here.
I've got a. No, I think I'm gonna be a little bit more low key coming into this new job. You can't come in guns blazing like that. You can't just put the stag's head on the wall.
I guess that's the part that I'm hung up on, is that it doesn't seem that guns blazing to me. It just seems like
Well, I think that
So-
in a corporate
Oh,
culture,
maybe.
it's
Yeah.
much more conservative than what you're used to. Like, in Hollywood, there's like a whole range that goes from like production where it's much more, artistic and free, and you'll see all kinds of crazy shit in people's offices, all the way to kind of more where I am. And there's even further than this, which is more like Disney and real corporate, where, look, you wear a suit and you wear nice clothes and your office maybe has movie posters and that's it. You don't do silly, crazy shit. So, it was a little bit pushing it, but whatever.
I
Would you
support
agree,
you.
Alan?
I support you absolutely.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's like we gave somebody a cube that had a pole in the middle of it, just because it was like you're the least likable on the team. That's your cube.
A cube with a pole.
Yeah. So
Like a
cubicle.
there's like
cubicle.
like you're in a cube.
I'm just imagining like
You're like
here's
a
like
literal
here's
cube
like
with
a
a
little
pole.
trophy. It's a cube with a fucking
No,
pole
like,
in it. This
most
is your-
offices have cubicles.
This is a you're a shithead trophy.
We're so cool. We call them cubes.
I knew. I was with you. I knew it.
Whatever, man. You know.
Wow, so he couldn't like move his
Yeah,
chair
you had to
around?
shimmy past it to get to your chair.
I wish people could have seen the shimmy.
Yeah, it's tough. It was Chicago politics, you know.
Yeah. There's a
Are you allowed
That's
to talk
the
about your new job?
I can talk about it. Yeah, I'm taking a job at a company called Alchemy, which is a newish company. It's a new name for an old company that used to be called Millennium, and they are a distributor of independent film. And I think they used to be called New Image, and then they got bought. And so they were bought by some investors in August, and they turned into Alchemy. And there's all this new investment happening, and they've got this new sort of attitude of trying to grow. And they brought me in to be the vice president of operations over there. Yeah, so I'm going to be like, coming in to help. I don't know, take them into. I think they're going to get into the future.
Well,
Let's put it that way.
congratulations are in order, I would say.
Yeah, I was not
Huge.
looking to leave. They, my old boss from Lionsgate kind of came to me with it, and he said, "Hey, I want to bring you on board." And I was like, "No, thanks." And then I told Alison, and she said, "You better fucking take this job,
That's
or you can
not how
you can go get a hotel room tonight."
That is
And I was like,
not
well,
how it
I
happened.
guess
For
I'll
the
take
record,
job.
was I not perfect?
Yes, honey.
No, really.
See, Daniel?
Yes, you were very supportive. You said whatever makes you happy.
Thank you. So hard to say.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
that
great.
really was
it
how I
actually
felt.
no. This
I
was
really,
the right.
I
This was
really
the right
didn't
choice.
want to influence.
No.
your
This
decision.
was the right choice. I'm real excited.
You know that I was trying not to influence your decision, right? I really wanted it to be your decision.
The fact that you're so worried that about what I think tells me that you know that you did
What?
right.
So,
don't know.
Greg, speaking of marriages,
Yeah.
budgety stuff.
Yeah, you guys. I got several emails from my wife over the last couple of weeks from something called YNAB, and I just kept reading the you need A, and I thought the B would be something exciting, but the B is budget. So this was my wife's way of saying, like, we are now part of this app where you enter all the money you have and then all these categories, and every time you buy something, you have to enter it in your phone so she can see every single thing that I've purchased every single day. And it's pretty much all we've talked about for the last week. It's really horrible. I think it's going to be good for our marriage, but I have a very bad financial record. All of the money that I've ever made is gone. Like, I don't have any money. Mm-hmm. And I've actually like done okay financially, but it's all, I just opened an IRA like 2 weeks ago for the first time in my life. I don't have a savings or anything. And I think that's always really stressed her out. I've never been stressed about it, but I am just me. And she was really into it. So this is a big...
I'm stressed out just as you're explaining it.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
I just don't have that like thing. I'm just not. I've done a lot of cool stuff. I didn't like throw all my money into the garbage. I've actually done a lot of fun
Sure.
stuff. I've been a lot of places, but I've never saved any money. I went to open an IRA when I was about 10 years ago, and I remember I walked into the bank and the woman goes, because my accountant was like, my dad was like, you have to have an IRA. And I went in to open an IRA, and she goes, what kind of an IRA do you want? And I go, oh, is there more than one? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, I'll be back. And I never, ever went back. I'll tell you a story about when Ayala really freaked out.
That's your wife.
Ayala's my wife. She's a little Israeli woman. Like 4 years ago, no, like 2 years ago, actually, she goes, can I have access to your bank account? You know, like we have mine and hers and the joint one. And I go, yeah, sure. She opens it, like 30 seconds later, she comes into my office and she goes, what's this, like, loan at the bottom of your bank account? I go, oh, that's just my overdraft protection. And she's like, no, it isn't. You're paying this money every month because you have a, what's that called when somebody like vouches for something that you do?
When you co-sign?
Yeah, but it's
Guarantor?
not that. It's like some other money term. I can't remember. Maybe let's just call it a loan.
It's not a garnish. They're not garnishing
No,
your
I
wages.
can't have my wages
Yeah, I was
garnished.
gonna say,
Yeah.
okay.
So anyway, I thought it was my overdraft protection. Line of credit. It was a line of
Okay.
credit. I just was about to say thank you to myself because it's like,
It's
for
all
me
right.
to get any of
You were
these
there
things
for
right, you
you.
don't even understand. And I was like, oh, really? She goes, yeah, what is this? And I go, I don't know. So I went to Wells Fargo and I was like, what is this? And the woman goes, you opened a line of credit when you were 20 years old. And I go, no, I didn't. She goes, the co-signer at the time was Nancy Meyer. That's my mother. So when I rented my first apartment, I didn't have enough credit, so my mom co-signed for it, and then she transferred it to me. But I never closed it. And it was $150 a month. And it was open for 19 years. And
Alan, you look pained.
This is honestly his nightmare right now. In fact, I'm kind of scared you mentioned this new app. I'm like, oh, great.
And
That's how I
always, like-
feel.
she was like, this is insane. She was like, it's insane. Like, you just threw a house into the toilet, basically.
Wait, so where did the money go? I don't understand.
It was being drawn out of my checking account straight to pay that off.
Oh, wow.
It's like a line of credit that like it just keeps revolving and revolving. You would probably, do you understand this?
Yeah. So they just say like it's like having a checking account without direct deposit. There's a fee that they're going to charge you, and probably because of the way your credit was, because you were light.
Because I was a high risk at the time. Yeah,
They said it's $150, and why would the bank be like, "Hey, by the way, you're going to need to stop paying us all that money you keep paying us so faithfully"?
right. So I didn't even know what it was.
But wait, but
Oh.
if you didn't owe the money anymore, who's collecting that money?
It's not a
Can you get it
loan.
back?
It's
not a
It's
loan.
a charge to say we're going to give
Yeah.
you this line of credit, and it costs $150 a month for the fee. It's like a credit card fee that comes
Oh, it's
annually.
for the line of credit.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And what does
Oh.
one do with a line of credit?
Rent
It's like
an
having
apartment
a
when
credit
you're 20,
card.
yeah.
It's just
It takes the place of a credit card that I didn't
Oh my
have at that
God.
age. So
Yeah.
that's me. That's
Yeah.
me. Yeah, that's me. I wasn't even at that. I actually think that story is kind of funny,
It is.
but
We're all cringing.
but I've done that like 300 times in my life.
Wow.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. So this is a big deal for me too. Like every time I open the app, I mean, like I have a lot of like pain. Actually, it's like super emotional and hard for me to do.
Yeah,
Why?
it's
It's
money
Really,
can
really
be,
hard for me to do.
Money can be really emotionally charged. It's a
Yeah.
tough issue.
Yeah,
But
it's really difficult. For
Why
me.
do you feel that way when you open it?
Well, also part of it was because like I guess I always thought of myself as like kind of as an artist, and I never wanted to have anything to do with money in that sense. I didn't want to think about it. And truthfully, like I've never been in, with the exception of the thing that I just told you, like I don't have any credit card debt. I don't owe anybody any money. I don't have I've never been in any trouble. I've
Been
never
really fortunate.
Right? Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
borrowed any money from anybody. My parents loaned me money once when I was in my 20s, and I've just been fine because whenever I was broke, I just lived within my means or whatever. So it's really stressful for me, and it's just I just don't have that gear in my brain. I just don't think about it. My objective is to not think about it.
Yeah.
So anytime, even thinking about it, like entering today when I bought chicken, I had to enter like I bought $19 worth of chicken. It was like a really, it was like an emotional action for me. Is that weird? But that's true.
No,
it
that
was
makes
like
sense.
really emotional for me. Most of
Yeah.
my therapy is about reconciling my life and my finances. That's what I pay all my money every week.
Did
to
your
talk about.
parents make money an issue for you? Was it a charged thing in your household?
We had a weird, the only thing that I will say is we had a weird childhood because when I was 10, we went from being very middle class to being very wealthy. My mother married a very affluent guy. What do you do? You do some business thing?
I'm an IT project manager, but I have business degrees and have been in.
My mother married the West Coast managing partner of Ernst & Young.
Oh
Wow. Okay.
One of them, I guess.
Yeah.
So we suddenly had quite a bit of money, but she was always like, we're not these people. You're
Right.
who you always were. Your life is not going to change. But no, I don't really remember. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, watching my mother struggle a lot. Watching her struggle, like, to pay for everything.
Yeah.
That's about it. No, nothing really. Anyway, it's called You Need a Budget. It sucks. But it's probably really good.
I think Daniel is more the you in our relationship,
Yeah, I think
probably. And so I have encouraged us to like get on the same page financially and blah, blah, blah. But I always feel like I'm impressed that you're doing this app and stuff because I feel like you're more like, get off my nuts, bitch. You've never said it.
I think that it's good to have the combined finances to a degree. But I do think that it's also good to have some of your finances independent, just so that you can buy frivolous things and like if I want to buy you a gift, like if everything was combined and I wanted to buy you a present for your birthday, like now I can't get you jewelry because it's all combined. I can't get you nice presents anymore because you're buying it for yourself.
That's not what I'm saying.
So if you want it combined, oh well, say goodbye to nice things.
Yeah. You can buy
See what
things
I'm
here.
saying?
We're combined, and Al buys me nice things.
I just feel like it's more of a symbolic thing in that, like, I would want to have the ability to get something and have it be from me and not from us.
Right. What I'm saying is I think...
Yeah, I totally
see.
understand.
You know?
I totally understand that.
Yes. I'm not suggesting we commingle everything. We have...
Right.
At
I think
this
actually,
point,
I think our solution that we found is good.
to
which is
commingle
to-
nothing?
No. So far, so good. No, no. We're gonna have a
get a
checking
joint
account that we
Yes.
share.
Right.
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 But we're
Right.
also gonna have.
But does this thing ever happen where I'll say to my wife, like, I'll bet you $1,000 you can't do that. She'll be like, it's just our fucking money.
Right.
Like, what's the point? But you know what I mean? You want your own money.
Yes, exactly. That's how I feel.
When we did this thing, I was just realizing this. There's a thing in here called Greg Fun Money, and I was like, "That's what it was called." And I immediately was like, "I object. That we don't. This is not fucking Everybody Loves Raymond. It's not like I'm out of town. You can order some pizzas and watch the big game." I was like, "No,
Greg,
First
silly
of all,
money.
Just call it Greg." And then she was like, "And all your music goes under that." I was like, because I spent a lot of money on music, and I was like, "No," because this is totally emotional. I was like, music is not a superfluous expense to me. That's part of me. That's as important to me as groceries. So we're making a separate category that's called Greg Music. And she was like, Greg Music is part of Greg Fun Money. And I was like, it isn't. And as I'm saying this to you, it's actually true.
Yeah.
Like that, going to concerts and buying music and buying music equipment, that's as important to me as any other thing that we do. So I actually made her make a separate category that says Greg Music. It's in here somewhere.
Yeah, but
Shit,
you know
did
what?
She delete it already?
I think you got to have that balance because this is truly an issue for you that you've got to work through because it's not your nature. So you can't come in here and say like, okay, now you have to be an accountant and you've got to tell me everything you do. There's just got to be a different way to track it. So like with Jenna and I, we commingle everything because that's just the way, we feel like that's our commitment level. But we don't say like, here's the categories of your spending. We have a shared credit card, and we charge everything to that credit card. So if there's ever a question of like, hey, where'd all our money go? It's like, well, there's 50 receipts from Taco Bell on the credit card. We know where the money went. Let there be no question about that. But so that's for me, that puts me to say like, I can track the spending. I know what it is, but I don't say like, Jenna, $200 fun money. That's it.
Right.
It
But
helps me sleep at night, but it also lets us be chill.
But Jenna, do you ever feel guilty making purchases?
When we were first married, I did. Yeah, a lot in the beginning. Particularly because when we first got married, I had quit my job and didn't have work. And so I was like, I'm not making any money. And suddenly I'm totally depending on this guy and I don't really know finances because I was sort of in your boat of like, I just somehow make it through. I had debt, but somehow I made it through.
Right.
And I got to pay off the debt before we got married, which was great. But like, I definitely felt guilt at first of like, I don't know, what should I do? But now I've sort of gotten over it. I just kind of like accepted it. I mean, I work now, so I make money too, but
Yeah.
it's just, it was, I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it. It was hard at first though. I'll fully admit it. It was really hard at first. But yeah, I kind of
you would
moved
say
on
like,
and
well,
get
can
over
I get
it.
this? And like, why are you asking me?
Yeah, I kind
Yeah.
of felt like I had to ask, which was weird.
Yeah, well, what I would do, I think what we would do is I'd say like, because I'm like the anal guy who wants to have an Excel document of the budget so that I can know like, here's what we're
God, I would
spending.
never marry you. I would never marry you.
You know,
You know what? It's every few months. Every few months, he pulls me into the office. He's like, "Let's go through this," and I'm like, and so then I sit through and we do it.
well, because here's the thing:
And-
you look at Michael Jackson, right? Who was like $400 million in debt. And the guy made tons of money, but he's like $400 million debt or whatever. And it's
needed
like
this app.
and he has all of these accountants. But all you do is
money.
say like, isn't there not an accountant that can say one page and say, hey, Mike, come here, sit with me. Look at this. You spend $100 million and
This
you
is what he
make
does to me. Come sit with me.
$50 million.
Come sit with me. Come over.
You overspent $50 million
Jenna,
this
you
year.
realize you're Michael
I know.
Jackson.
I know. I understand exactly what's happening.
My wife could seriously masturbate to what you just said. like if she seriously could like masturbate to that. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Jenna?
No, I was just going to say, I grew up in a really weird household. My parents were divorced, and it was sort of like my dad had tons and tons and tons of money, and my mom didn't have that much money. So I feel like I grew up in both worlds.
Hang on. Your parents were divorced, Greg. Your parents were divorced,
Yeah.
and my parents were divorced, and all three of us are the ones that have the same attitude about money.
Together.
My
And
parents
you,
are
both of your
together.
parents are together. What?
Hold on, there's another man at this table.
Okay, tiebreaker.
Parents divorced. I could tell you where every cent I've spent for the last 20 years went. I love Quicken. I love QuickBooks.
So there you go.
Wow.
Well, it's
Okay.
all right. Well, for me,
Thanks,
it's like
Jeff.
my dad was so uptight.
this has been Jeff pooping on your point.
That's right. Some people don't have a problem with that. My dad was so uptight about money that I think I was raised to associate money with extreme stress, and not just stress, but the kind of stress that ruins your ability to enjoy life. And I think I just had this attitude of, I'm not going to let money ruin my ability to enjoy life. I'm not going to be irresponsible about it, but I'm not going to be so uptight, because money is something that can come and go. And in my life, I've found that like I could get really uptight about losing $100 and then 2 months later come into $1,000. And it's like, wow, why was I so freaked out about that? I know it's not necessarily the best way of looking at money, Al, but
Hey, no,
yeah,
you know,
okay, Killjoy.
Each
But it's like
have their
but
own.
Here, I'll give you an example. My dad texted me the other day, and he was like, you know, hey, what's going on? How you doing? And I told him, oh, I just got this new job, and it's really great. And I was telling him about it, and then I asked a whole bunch of questions about my siblings, because I just was catching up, and I'm worried about a couple of them, and just because they're kids, you know. And he didn't answer any of my questions, and all he said was, look, whatever money you got as a raise, take half of it and put it in an IRA, because if I didn't have this pension, I'd be fucked. And then he goes,
Love
oh,
you.
he goes, oh, and congratulations.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, you know what? I don't want to be that. Now, on the other hand, you got to be responsible, and you got to grow up and get over that. But when you say there's an emotional thing, that's what it is to me. It's like getting past that fear of losing the joy of life, and that I'm going to be consumed by the anxiety of money.
But you have the other side. So my side is, if Jenna's relying on me to take care of her, and she's trusting me with that, then I have a concern that what if I lose my job, and then I can't pay the rent, and she's out on the streets, so am I, and it's my fault because she relied on me. So what we do is just say, like, listen, my comfort level is X amount of dollars in savings. After that, I don't really care. Let's rent a house in Palm Springs and do this, you know. So I think you got to figure out your level of comfort.
Yeah, and I feel like I split the difference. I think people that don't want to deal with money think that people that do want to deal with money are uptight and squares, and, that managing the money is going to make you anxious. And then people from the other side think, oh, well, not caring about money is going to make you anxious. But for me, it's an easy way to keep track of money and my finances and my books. And if, you know, when I go to pay my taxes at the end of the year, my accountant loves me. I can print out 2 sheets and show him where everything goes. And for me, I just like knowing where I stand.
everything.
And it's
It's not like when we do taxes and I pull out this box that I've been just throwing things in for a year, and then I'm like, let's go through it,
Just
Al.
read them off.
Yeah.
I'll type it in.
So I think one side, either side can come from a basis of fear, and I don't think that's a good idea for anyone. And
Well, I think each person does what they do because that's what makes them comfortable.
Right.
In
Right.
the end,
Yeah.
and if you're on the other side of it, although I don't know where I am, because I don't keep track in the same way that Jeff and Al do, but I'm made a little bit uncomfortable by, maybe Jenna, you and I are kind of similar.
Yeah.
You're-
somewhere
Yeah, I
in the
think you
middle.
are.
You know what
Yeah.
it is? It's like you're sort of loose with money, but you're a crazy control freak over your husband. So it's like a weird, you know what I mean? It's like a
Right.
weird combination. It's like
I
you're
don't care what goes on with
you're-
me as long as you don't have fun, and as long as
That's
your
right.
magic and
Right.
poetry of life is squeezed to death.
Yes,
that's in the Daniel have no fun money category.
it's On your dream board, there's a picture of me next to a used up orange rind that's been completely
Frowning.
squeezed and thrown in the trash.
Our big
Exactly.
thing in the last, the one thing my wife has really tried to talk me into is the idea that you can invest in something that you don't care about. That was always a big thing for me too. I never wanted to invest in any money unless I believed in the product. I went through this thing with my stepdad 10 years ago when I got my first really good job. He was like, if you give me $20,000, I will give you $100,000 in a year because I'm going to invest it in this. He's like a financial genius.
Yeah.
He's like, this community is being built, this subdivision in something in Fontana. And there's and he showed me this thing, a prospectus with a Home Depot. And I was like, this is really depressing to me. This is not interesting to me. And he's like, I'm guaranteeing you I'll give you 5 times the money back. And I was like, I'm just not interested in the thing.
Can we talk to your stepdad?
Does he have a card? Or?
Am I too old to adopt?
But I just went through this with Ayala, and she was like, you have to let that go. You're giving people money. That's just part of the process. And I think I'm finally now okay with that. But for years, I wouldn't invest in something because I was like, oh, I don't care about that. I'm not interested in that thing. And I think
you took the word investment literally.
I took the word investment. I'm giving you my money. I should believe in what you're doing. And I realize now that that's not American.
You do see it the way creative people see it.
Right.
Creative people tend to do their money that way. And I think people who are in finance see money, they just see it as freedom, or they see it money. They just have a different relationship with it. They can invest in anything as long as they're just looking at the return. They're just looking at whatever.
Right. And I think that's actually a gift. To me, that's like a gift that I kind of wish I had.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, Jeff, I know you have a couple stories. I would like to hear the instant coffee one.
Oh, my instant coffee story as a part of. Hang on.
That's right.
Wait for it.
Snack Chat.
Do we need the whole song, actually? It's been a while.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course.
Snack Chat. Milky Way, Skittles, Reese's, cheese, crackers, butter sandwich, cookie pie, cookies, pudding, fruit,
Thank you, Trap Dog.
Did I imagine it, or was there a video to that?
You imagined it.
Oh, just in my head?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
It was the peyote.
I wish.
I'm going to say something very controversial, something that's going to blow up the Twitter sphere.
Okay.
I had instant coffee, and I liked it.
What? What kind?
How dare you?
Trader Joe's brand.
Oh.
Here's the impetus.
They're the makers of the cold brew coffee I didn't like.
That was
when
part
I
of
heated
it.
Up, yeah.
That was part of it. Was you were talking about that cold brew coffee, which I always wanted to try, and then you didn't like it.
When I microwaved it.
Yeah. And then when I was in Athens, Georgia, I stayed at this really grubby hotel, and they always have a coffee maker in the hotel.
Yeah.
But if it's a grubby hotel, the coffee will be bad. So even though there's a coffee maker in there, you're making really bad coffee. And I thought, I should bring some tea bags or something. And then I thought, wait a minute. What about instant coffee? Maybe there's a decent instant coffee out there. So all of these things put into my head. Oh, the other thing is that when I'm at home, I don't really drink coffee. It's just too much when I'm working at home. It makes me too crazy. So I'll have tea, kind of ease into it. Mm-hmm. But every now and then I want a cup of coffee. But when I make coffee in my one-shot thing at home, no matter how hard I clean it, my next cup of tea tastes like a bad cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So, solution was try instant coffee. So I thought I remembered Trader Joe's having it, and lo and behold, they had it, and I tried it, and it was not bad.
I just find this hard to believe.
Get in line. I mean, nobody's more incredulous than me. I thought, this will be passable, or it'll just be okay. But maybe I just had a really low bar of expectations, but it wasn't bad.
Dan, you look like you're smelling something bad.
I have.
Is it my butthole?
Okay, well, you said it. My association with instant coffee is the saddest teacher at your school who drank Sanka, you know, and it's just that person's life is just ugh.
Yeah, that's me, and but lower now apparently.
In college, I
knew
people that would take instant coffee and then mix a bunch of it in just enough water to make it like a Turkish
espresso
coffee muddy thing, and then just pound it to stay awake.
Oh, we used to do coffee, and then we would put hot chocolate packets in it. That was.
I keep
Yeah,
thinking you
that's
guys
like
are going
a
to say
mocha.
you put cocaine in it, the whole time. And then after all those
But
stories,
just do the cocaine if you're going to bother. I mean,
I'm not part of the drug crowd. I'm a square. I don't even eat smoked whitefish.
well, so have you had instant coffee before?
A long time ago. I mean, 80s something. Or maybe I never have. I must have
Maybe
had it
we
somewhere.
need to give it another shot.
And
Alison-
it was terrible. I mean, it was terrible. So I'm not saying it was great coffee. I'm not saying it's better than Trader Joe's whatever brewed coffee. But for instant coffee,
It's passable.
it was a lot better than I thought it would be. But it's super convenient if I just want one cup of coffee, and it was awesome for making iced coffee with.
All right.
It was strong too. I put like 2 huge teaspoons in because I thought, oh, this is going to be really weak, but it was really strong.
Have you considered making pour over, single drip? Do you ever make that? That's how I drink coffee. I live in Venice. So I'm just admitting I'm an asshole right now. But that's
What
the
is
way that
this?
I drink
Maybe
coffee.
I have made this. What
So
is
you
it?
just get a coffee mug and you put this porcelain cup over it, and you put a filter in it. You fill it with coffee grinds and you pour hot water over it. It makes a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with filters.
I have done that. I find that that's a lot of work for one cup of coffee, actually.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
But
Although,
in Venice, you have the time.
remember
right?
what you
It's
got
very
me for
artisanal.
Christmas?
Yeah.
Remember what you
Oh,
got me
yeah,
for
an
Christmas?
AeroPress.
An AeroPress, which is awesome.
Right. Oh, delicious, right?
Yeah, but that's about the same. It's just
Same
a little
amount
bit
of
more.
effort, I
Yeah.
would say, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a French press, but again, that's too much work.
Those are impossible to clean.
Super
too.
hard to
They're
clean.
super hard to clean, yeah.
You know why?
No
I got
good.
the AeroPress because Carrie Brownstein recommended it.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
She uses an AeroPress
We
every
took
day,
it-
apparently.
And we had it in New York, and actually, we're drinking it in New York. It was really great. It's a great thing to travel with because then you don't have to be at the mercy of the shitty coffee maker at the hotel.
Right.
and
What
it comes in a fun pouch, and who doesn't love fun pouches?
and for white trash, low life guys that like instant coffee, what is an AeroPress?
Explain
It's
it.
basically like a plunger. So you take the coffee grounds and you put it in there, and then you put the hot water in. There's a filter at the bottom, and then you push the plunger in, and it like forces the air through in the water through the coffee grounds to simulate. So it makes like an espresso. It's like a very, very rich espresso, like if not actually an espresso.
Right. It's almost like a mechanical espresso maker.
Right.
Except it actually takes a lot of strength to do. I was
Yeah.
having trouble doing it.
All right, I'm out.
Yeah, you have to like and like strong coffee, but it's good.
I like strong coffee.
We'll show it to you afterwards. What Allison, what would you do if you had instant coffee? How would you turn that into some crazy thing that you would drink?
Well, I would probably, honestly,
Yeah, honestly.
I would take the crystals and I would dump like a shitload of Truvia in there and give it a couple of sprays of I can't believe it's not butter.
That's
and see
what
what
I
that
wanna
tastes
do.
like. Just plain.
And if
I feel like it wouldn't be very
You're not
good,
just
but-
playing.
No, I said just plain.
Oh, just plain. Thought you were trying to make your audience think that you weren't crazy like that.
Y'all just playing. I won't really
Just
put that
playing.
Truvia in it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man, y'all just playing with that shit.
I wouldn't
Boy,
put
that is
I
so
can't
not
believe it's
anything
not
you would
butter
ever
in
say.
there.
I'm not sure I understand the. There is a movement of putting butter in coffee.
Yes, there is.
Bulletproof
Yeah.
That is a big,
I've
huge
heard
movement.
it. Yeah, heard about it.
Apparently, it's really, really good, but you know,
Well, then.
I mean, I don't know.
is it
I-
salted butter? Like how would it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I,
don't
have
know.
one friend who does it because he was trying to lose weight. It's a weight loss thing.
That
it does
seems
something to your metabolism.
counterintuitive.
If you think about it, it makes sense though. I mean, what's cream? You know,
Oh,
just-
not
Yeah.
you mean it makes sense not from the weight
in
loss
the
perspective.
the weight
From the
loss thing, I have
delicious
no
point of view.
clue.
No, that's part
Drinking
of the diet.
butter.
It does something to your I don't know. Fuck
It's
it.
all you drink the entire day.
yeah,
Oh,
diet is.
oh my God. Speaking of, we went to the Ren Fair.
Oh yeah, we went to the Ren
What?
Fair. Mm-hmm.
I know, it seems surprising. We just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. I had gone as a kid a couple times. It was much more majestic as a child. It just seemed like a real fancy street fair.
It was yeah,
But
Is
Did you
the
dress
thing with
up?
the billboards
No.
with the
Oh.
dudes pointing? The,
maybe. I
Yeah,
haven't
there's
seen
like
the
a billboard with 3 guys that are like, "Hey," and then it
Oh,
says
really?
Renaissance Fair on it. But
We
I don't
didn't
know.
see
if
them
that's-
there.
It
I
was
think
just
there's
like-
only one going on
like
right now.
Pleasure fair.
yes,
Well,
the
it's a
Renaissance
Pleasure Fair.
Fair.
Yeah.
Renaissance
Okay.
Pleasure
I just
Fair.
wasn't sure what was being represented. the word pleasure
with the 3
concerns me
guys
when it-
going,
yeah.
"Hey."
Oh.
pointing at me.
Oh.
Pleasure fair, and I was like, I don't want to. I
You
don't want
know,
to go
I
there.
think if
like
you're
it's a bunch of
in-
whips and
Yeah.
sex toys,
It seemed just a little scary to me.
like Renaissance sexual role play.
But
I
I
don't know.
think there's an overlap of people who are into this and people who are into polyamory. Because I've seen
Oh, there's a lot of
MTV's
overlaps.
I'm
There's
a polygamist.
the Ren Fair attracts a lot of subcultures. The
many
weirdest one to
people were
me.
there?
The weirdest one to me is
Well,
is the
very small.
is the steampunk thing.
Oh
that-
yes.
Like there is a weird thing where Renaissance Fair and steampunk are like now the same group of people, and it's like, what is it about those two things that?
Costumes.
Yeah,
Sadness.
but
Loneliness.
yeah, desperate. I don't want to put those people down, but it's like,
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
I like people who get really enthusiastic about shit. So
Me too.
Well, anyway, where all of us was going was we went to get a meal there because
Yeah.
that's what you do there. And it was sort of like I'm trying to think what restaurant, like restaurants in science fiction movies, where no matter what kiosk you go to, all the items they sell, they have them right there. Like they have a display version of them, except I think that it actually was the real food. Like, oh, that's fried artichokes. It's been sitting there for 16 hours.
they do that in Japan.
Yes,
Like,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. But it's all made out of plastic, though, in Japan. So I
Sounds like
that.
ye old Boston Market.
Right. Maybe it is like that. But so anyway, Daniel wanted to get fried artichokes. We're getting a few things.
Artichoke hearts, not the whole thing.
And then we saw they had steamed artichokes. So I thought, that's more healthy. Let's get that.
That's the healthy version.
It came with like 3 ladlefuls of liquid butter on top of it. It
And
was the
mayonnaise
least healthy thing I've ever.
and
Yeah,
hollandaise.
We definitely went the wrong direction with that.
Oh my
one.
god. This is an instance where the fried version was
healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that would have been lighter. We should have gone that direction.
Who knew that was Renaissance cuisine?
Yeah,
Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. And then I love the spelling of everything is how did you pronounce it?
Oh, it
Drinks?
was cold drinks, DRYNKS.
Drinks.
Yeah, and it frustrated me though because I was like, want to get a cold drink, and then, but I was trying to make fun of it because that's the kind of person I am. But the way it's spelled, it just sounds like you're speaking like you're super into it.
And I realized that they've crafted the Renaissance Fair so that it's impossible to
It's
make fun of it.
mock-proof.
Because the more you can mock it, and it's exactly what they want from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of spelling makes me want to VOMYT.
Vomite?
VOMYT.
Yeah, all the vendors there spoke in a weird accent. Weird is not the right word. It was a Renaissance accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
was
kind of phased in and out.
I wanted more stilts walkers and fire swallowers.
Everyone was all right.
There wasn't enough of that. It was just a bunch of people in. I mean, there were some pretty cool
Costumes.
costumes.
Were there any
but-
lusty or busty wedges?
Oh my God! You know what they
Oh,
don't
yeah, if
warn
you
you
have-
about? They
yeah.
don't warn you about the very old, aggressive, freckled, wrinkled breasts that are pushed up in corsets that you will see a lot of.
Right. There's no warning about that when you enter on the ticket stub
I
or
feel
anything.
like there should be
It's just, warning, old boobs.
My boobs
in your
were,
face.
My boobs were the only ones that weren't tucked under a chin. I mean,
Right.
they're all like right up there.
Yeah, really pushed up.
Really strapped into something. Yeah.
Really, really, yeah. Like
You said you had been, when you were a kid, did your parents make you go or did you choose to go? Did you want to go?
My mom took my sister and me.
And you hated it, right? Or did you
No,
like it?
I did. I remember it being pleasant. I don't
I
think
think
I
it's great for
realized
kids.
it was a whole. I didn't realize it was like a whole big thing, and there's a subculture, and there's people who are super duper into it. It just was sort of like going to the Strawberry Festival or something.
it's fun
just
for
a
kids. There's
thing.
like crafts and stuff. You can make candles and do other Renaissance things. I don't know.
Right.
Sure.
CANDLYS candles.
Candiles,
That's right.
candilies. Let's do Just Me or Everyone.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right. Andrew Sirio says, I hate when people, when referring to a death, say, we just buried our grandmother. Why so graphic? How about a euphemism? Just me or everyone? And see, I sometimes dislike the euphemisms like, oh, yes, she passed. I'm not sure where I stand with it. I used to say passed or passed on. I remember when I first started working at Time Out New York, I was writing a music review, and I was mentioning a song about that a guy wrote after his grandmother passed. That's what I wrote. And the editor changed it to died. And I remember thinking, well, you're a ton of fun. But then I think then I got on the died train, and now I feel like let's just say what it is. I don't know. I go all over the place.
Sometimes it feels ambiguous when you like certain words that people use. I just feel like maybe you should be more specific so that there's no confusion of like, did they just go away? Really?
Right,
Or
right.
like
They just moved on.
Right.
You're like, did they change
What do you
jobs?
mean
She
moved
exploded in
on?
that car wreck. Like, I mean, how?
Yeah.
And then people,
I don't know.
People with pets, they always say, I put it to sleep and I put it down, and then I go visit people and they say, "Oh, well, you finished watching that show. I'm gonna go put the kids down."
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a mixed message there.
There's horrible ones too. One of my next door neighbors died. Like, she was this woman who used to smoke, and I didn't smell smoke for a couple of days, and then the cops knocked on my door, and they went on the fire escape over to her apartment, and he came back in and he goes, "She has expired."
Well,
And that's the thing. People say,
Yeah.
and you know what
I
they
don't like
say-
that one.
That's really weird. And you know what they say about horses? Destroy.
Yeah.
They say we're going to destroy the horse.
that's
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
a
pretty
we have to
aggressive term.
destroy the horse. It's really weird. Like,
Expired
like that
it makes
term,
us
yeah.
makes me feel like we have an expiration.
like you have an
date.
expiration
Right.
date, right?
Yeah.
Like
Although
milk.
we do.
I think if you're a cop or a fireman, I think that's appropriate because it should be all business to them.
I think
Maybe.
language, what you're talking about with softening
Maybe.
the words and stuff, it has to do with distancing yourself from what it is. So it's like when it's not your relative or loved one, you go, yeah, that person died. But then I found in my life, then suddenly when someone dies that's close to you, you're suddenly using those words because you kind of don't want to confront it totally head on, and so you
You're
those words are
insulating
there
yourself.
to shield yourself from it, so you can kind of let it in doses. When Oliver died, it was like at first I was kind of using that, and then I was so angry I started using really aggressively, terms that kind of bothered you, I know, but it was like, I think language is a way of just either getting close to what it is or further from it is what it is, and cops, I think,
Yeah,
want to
that's
stay far
exactly
from
what
it.
you're saying about the word expired. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably right.
Yeah, they just want to be. This is the box I'm going to check on the form.
Right.
Jason Dix says, just me or everyone, if I get up to pee in the middle of the night, I never wash my hands before getting back in bed. Yeah, I don't either. And also sometimes when I'm awake, most of the
What?
time.
Say what?
Sometimes I don't even get out of bed.
Either you're incredibly well endowed or you got a wet bed.
Why can't it be both?
I believe Alison is implying that your dick reaches all the
Yeah.
way to the toilet from your
She
bed.
just lays it in there for the night. It's just like a like a drainage hose. Just it's a good idea.
I don't know what I do, but if I may interject, I would like to reassign an answer from last week with the JMO about putting water on your hands before you wash them. I don't have one way or the other. I've monitored it since, and I do it sometimes, and sometimes I don't.
Oh, that means you're crazy.
I know.
Don't you like when people tell you things that mean things, but when they don't mean those things?
I sometimes think about this,
Yes.
and I'm not admitting anything one way or the other, but if you're like, you go to the bathroom, your hands now touch your zipper. Why is your zipper dirty? Your hands touch your dick. Why is your dick dirty? Like, what has happened to it? And then you don't get pee on your hands. I'm not saying I don't wash my hands, but I'm saying, like, why
I have
do
the same
you
internal
have
thought.
to
Yeah. I
wash
think
your
it's
my
more
hands.
about
Yeah, I just
Right.
It's like if the piss came out of my finger, who cares? It's just a
Or-
dick finger. It's whatever.
Well, when I go to pee, I like to stick one hand in my butt crack while I pee.
Well, then I
and so
for
it
sure-
gets dirty.
But I'm just saying, like, why is the skin on your dick different than the skin on your arm?
Well, and have you
Because
ever
pee
been
comes out of it.
in
Is the idea, I think.
if you go to a really scummy bar or restaurant and the bathroom's really disgusting, or road stop, and there are times when I've thought,
It's dirty.
my junk is cleaner than this toilet and
Right.
this sink, so if I touch anything in here, I'm
I
guaranteed
think
that
it's
I'm dirtier.
more about number two.
Right.
I think is really.
Oh
what
yeah,
counts.
yeah.
So
That person is not suggesting that they take a dump in the middle of the night, right?
No, they said pee.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, here's a question.
Night dumps.
We are all agreeing that your dick is really no different than your finger, except for the obvious reasons it's different.
You
But
can
I'm just-
reproduce with it.
Yeah. But if your finger was in your pants for most of the day, would it smell?
I think
Or
it probably
is it
gets
glands?
sweatier.
Okay.
But I don't. In terms of it being sanitary, that's what we're talking about.
Right. It was a separate question. Because I was just actually thinking about, is dick skin the same as finger skin?
I don't think there's a doctor at this table, but it's the same. Skin is skin, right?
I do.
Does
I
anyone
do
know the
think
answer?
I remember hearing that you have more sweat glands in that area for to emit scent. Sound crazy. To emit scent to like attract like
Dogs.
that animal.
Someone is going to fact check this
I
big
know.
time.
Listen, I know I say shit on here, and then someone tweets like, "I was listening to you talk about that, and you are so goddamn full of shit." I don't
fact-
pretend to listen. Disclaimer: I don't think anything I say is right. This is what I think.
Okay. Speaking of Jason Dix, I should mention Jason Dix is a member of the JMO Patrol, which is a podcast dedicated to talking about this podcast. And if you think that
listen.
I'm not on Cloud 9, that it exists, you don't know me at all. Cindy in Spain says, when distracted, I enter my password into the username box and it horrifies me to see my password all written out. Makes me feel naked. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
I don't understand the question.
Are you ever at a computer and you're entering your password and accidentally you enter it into the username field and then you see your password just sitting there, not concealed?
Oh. Yeah, but it doesn't bother me.
Really?
Yeah.
Get
I don't
out.
like that.
You should play your drop again. This is Jeff. Poops on your point.
Yeah. Sorry, I got nothing.
Amy Pruszinski says, this is a gal chat one, but I feel like that's fine.
Gal chat.
I'll put something on, look in the mirror, and think I look good. Then I'll see a photo of myself in it, and I look like a cow.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
That happens, I feel like, on a regular basis.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll have to take a photo of myself in something at home
I've
to see
done
how
that.
it's going to look.
Yeah, I've done that.
And then sometimes I wonder, this is real gal chat, heavy. We're in the depths
Yeah.
of gal chat. Sometimes I wonder, should I dress for how I look in the photo or for how I look in the mirror or for how I feel?
Ooh.
And then I just...
Then you just cry.
Yes.
You just go, I'm going back to bed. Forget it.
That was a big thing with the wedding, though. With every aspect of the wedding, what it was, should I think about how this is going to look in the photos, or should I think about how it's going to look, how I'm going to feel when I see it on that day?
I have
Turns out it
anxiety
didn't
just
really-
thinking about this.
Yeah, it was anxiety provoking.
Yeah.
Even though this is gal chat, I'm going to weigh in on
Please
this a little
do.
bit. I actually had a moment recently where I got up, had breakfast, got dressed, and I went to Target, and I had to use the bathroom at Target, did wash my hands, and as I was exiting the bathroom, I caught myself in the mirror, and I looked so idiotic in what I was wearing, and it had not occurred to me. I looked like a complete maniac that I almost fell down laughing.
What were you wearing?
I was wearing a a tight plaid striped shirt, camouflage cargo shorts.
Wait, a plaid striped shirt?
I'm sorry, a plaid shirt with very thin plaid. on it,
Okay.
like very thin bars.
Camo shorts.
Camo cargo shorts. So sloppy on sloppy.
Oh, jeez.
And Argyle socks.
Nice.
Yep.
There's a lot going on there.
There was a lot going on there. And I knew I looked like a maniac. And I thought, oh, God, how did I get out the door looking like this? And I almost thought about going home and changing. And I thought, well,
I'm at
That's
Target.
how
I'm
the
at
kids are
Target.
dressing. That's how the kids are dressing these
That's
days,
true.
though.
Oh,
Maybe
see?
super
Mismatch is
hip.
You
the
look
way
like
to go.
riffraff.
Yeah.
That's why the security guard followed me around.
JMO. There's now an account named JMO. Says, whenever I see a quote with implied or replaced words in brackets, I go nuts trying to figure out what the person actually said. Sometimes I'll do that.
I've
Sometimes
done
I'll
that.
fill in the blanks. Yeah. Blizzard says, just mirror everyone. Oh, another gal chat one. Gal chat. I've been shaving my legs for 10 plus years and I still can't do it without at least one cut. I don't have that problem with my legs, but I have all sorts of problems shaving my armpits. Are your armpits very concave
Weird shaped. Yeah.
or weird shaped?
Well, I guess concave is the right word for it. But yeah, there's like certain areas that I'll miss, and then if you miss it too long, it's like, whoa,
Right. Like, I could
that's
French braid that.
terrifying. Yeah.
Because the other day Daniel had his arms up, and I was like, "Oh, your armpits don't. They're totally flat. They aren't concave." And he took that moment to tell me it had to do with muscle tone.
Well, I wasn't. Sound like the worst husband.
I sound like the worst wife. So
No, I mean, I was trying to account for it, and I think it's because
You're
Yeah.
yoked. You're ripped.
I'm not like I used to be, but like I think it's just because I have. It's like there's muscle there.
see,
pushing it out.
Daniel.
So listen, you're a lady. You don't need to have pectoral muscles.
And I guess I don't. But yeah, whenever I try to shave there, I always feel like I'm scraping the skin.
Ooh.
So that happens first of all, and then I get out and I look, and it's like there's patches that I missed. It's very
Do you
hard
remember
area to shave.
the razor that came out that was called the Intuition, and Jewel had that pop song at the time? She was like trying to make a comeback as a pop artist, and her song was
Keep going.
Intuition. And so that song was the ad, like, follow your heart, your intuition. And it was a razor that had the soap built in to make it so it was a more pleasant experience while you were shaving.
I like this. Or
Yeah,
do I
sounded
not?
like a great idea.
Right.
I used it and got the most insane rashes in my armpits from it. So I don't think there's a good way to do it. I think it's just the plight of womanhood. You have to shave your armpits, and it's the worst.
Were you mad at Jewel?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like she's.
Well,
Led
the
you
whole
astray.
her trying to be like this cheesy pop artist like a Mandy Moore was just like, okay,
Yes,
Jewel,
bullshit.
settle down.
Bring
Fix
back
your
the old
teeth.
Jewel,
Let's do
yes.
this.
All right, Lane. I think it says Lane. I've cut off the name. I believe it says Lane. Says, try to carefully pick at a nail snag and end up completely tearing and ruining it till it's short and sad. And then she has, or he, she, or he. Goodness, is this a lady or a man thumb? I think it's a lady thumb. Has a picture of the thumb that's all with the skin kind of ragged.
Ugh.
Yes,
That happens. Yeah.
Yes.
Ugh.
happens to all of us. Sooner Magic says, in fact, I see your nails in your
I
mouth right
split
now.
it. I split the nail. That's what's happening.
Wow.
Allison is also the nails police. I'll be chewing my
I really
nails.
do sound awful on this podcast.
Yeah, I'll be chewing my nails, and then I'll just hear this nails.
You know what? We have something like that at our house. Where
What
I
is
play
it?
with my hair like
Oh.
crazy, and he'll just reach over and just like put his hand on my face to make me stop doing it, and I hate it. Makes me crazy,
Yeah.
but it is, I guess, annoying.
It's OCD.
It's a little bit.
You mean you have OCD, Al?
She has OCD. Because you have like you like do like a breathing thing. It, like,
Oh, really?
It like calms
It's
her.
when
What does
I'm
it sound
con-
like?
It's
The
when I'm
breathing thing.
concentrating.
What does the breathing sound like?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It's when I'm stressed out and when I'm working. I like twirl
So
it and
sometimes
rub
if
it
I
against
ask her
my
to
mouth.
think, I'll say, "Hey, what about this?" And if she just goes like, "Oh no," I'll be like, "No, think about it." And I'll grab her hair and like rub it in her mouth. Like, but think about it. You're not thinking about it.
He knows when I'm not concentrating because I'm not doing my weird tick.
Yeah. Anyway.
But anyway, he reaches across the room, whenever, it doesn't matter, and he'll put his hand all over my face and try to make me stop it.
See, I don't do that.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
It's fine. I actually don't mind it because it's such an unconscious thing, and I will chew my nails down. It hurts, so it's like you'll just remind me that I'm doing it.
Yeah, I feel like we're at this point in it where I'm claiming it's for your sake.
Do the listeners hear a broken man on the podcast?
I think they hear 4 of them.
Yeah.
All right. Sooner Magic says, just mirror everyone. Only reheat food until it's barely warm instead of hot. Don't have patience to let it cool before scarfing it down. I have done that.
I do that because I think if it gets too hot, it changes the flavor of the food.
It does.
Ding. Yes. 100%.
What kind of food are you reheating this? I mean, like chicken or something like
Chicken
a
is
frozen
disgusting
dinner?
reheated,
Yeah.
just so everybody knows.
It becomes fish flavored.
I hate it. Yeah. But I just feel like, in general, most things, if you heat it too long in the microwave, it just completely ruins it and changes it.
For sure.
Snapchat.
Yes.
All right, so we all agree. And finally, Susan Hilton says, hate when TV, radio, podcast people are replaced and everyone acts like nothing has changed. # new Darren. I'm wondering if this is a reference to something. And thank you. I'm glad you feel that way. I think it's just inevitable that people just adjust to things and everything's hunky-dory and now there's a new person here and that's A-okay. And then there's an old person who's like, hello. And then she reads this just mirror everyone on the show. Or it's not related. I don't know.
Well, in TV shows, I think it's a problem if you're asking someone to play the same character, and it's like, although I don't know, they do that.
Like in Roseanne, how they just switched the older
That
sister.
always bums
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
And then she just shows back up in another episode, and Roseanne's like, "Where the heck have you been?" And you're
What's
just supposed to
weird
move on.
Is I recently saw an episode with Sarah Chalk, the new Becky, and in the credits they begin with the old Becky, and then have her. It was when the credits. I don't know how long.
Oh,
the
when
credits
they would
involved the morphing.
grow up,
Yeah,
yeah.
when you watch them grow up, and she grew up and changed from one person to another.
Oh, weird.
Oh, that's funny.
It was strange.
Yeah, they did that on Game of Thrones with a couple characters, and
They did.
yeah, there's a character Dario, what's his name, Dario Naharis or something like that, and he they changed it so dramatically that it like, at least if you're going to change it, make them kind of similar enough that you can try
Like
to
the
fool
two
yourself.
Darrens on Bewitched, because they looked very much alike.
Yeah,
The four Rusties from Vacation.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's another Rusty in the new Vacation.
There's a new
Ed
Vacation.
Helms plays the grown-up
Yeah,
Rusty.
they're doing a reboot.
Really?
What?
Well, it's not really a reboot. It's
not.
Rusty now is the dad.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
Chevy's in it. I think, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But I think they go back to Wally World. It's very exciting.
I always liked European Vacation.
I did too.
Yep. Yeah. It's the best.
I know, but that's one of those.
good.
I think we
A
were
lot of
young
people
when we
don't
saw
like
it.
it, yeah.
I don't know that it's actually good.
Yeah, that
Well,
was.
I don't think I
have
held
a-
it up as like fine cinema,
But I
but I'm
loved
saying
it.
yeah.
It's Big Ben Parliament. That's the best one. That's the best one.
exactly.
Rusty.
Pig in a poke.
We have a ringtone available.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Get that by searching Hey Go Fuck Yourself on your iPhone in the iTunes store. We have 2 special bonus episodes available, recorded live at the LA Podcast Festival. The first one with Doug Benson and Greg Proops. The next one with Doug Benson, musician Matt Costa, and the former Thursday Gang. And those are $1.99 in the comedy album section of the iTunes store. If you're going to buy something on Amazon, which you are, they have everything. Perhaps a cube with a pole in it. Click through the Amazon banner on my website, AlisonRosen.com. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it helps out the show. Thank you guys so much for all your Amazon support. Thank you for your PayPal support. We have PayPal links on the right side of my website, AlisonRosen.com. Follow me on Twitter at Alison Rosen. Follow the show's Twitter feed at ARIYNBF. Email us, ARIYNBFshow@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, Facebook.com/The Alison Rosen. And I'm on Instagram at Alison Rosen. Thank you guys so much for listening. I love you. Jeff, where should we go for you?
You can find me on the social medias at Colonel Jeff Fox, and check out my podcast, Barracuda Radio, where finer podcasts are found.
Daniel?
Not where they're frowned, where they're found.
Did I say frown?
Either.
I love
Find or
Barracuda
find.
Radio. I just started listening. You guys should listen to it. It's good.
I was telling Jeff earlier, it's so good. It's like a,
Thank you.
it's, everyone is into the startup podcast,
Yes.
and its production rivals that, I would say.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. You can find me at Daniel Quantz, QUANTZ, at whatever, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. Maybe one day.
Oh, that's right.
We're gonna
I need to Periscope
we
again.
talked about it. We're going to figure it out. So
Alan?
At Alan Moss, ALLANMOSS, on Twitter and Instagram.
Jenna?
Check out our podcast. Al and I have one called Sorry Not Sorry. You can find it by going to iTunes and searching Jenna Kim Jones, and we're having a lot of fun with it. So it's still relatively new, but we like it. So come listen to it.
Do that. Go listen. And Greg?
I just want to say, if you are anywhere in the United Kingdom, Epic Meal Empire is now on Comedy Central. That's a show that I made last year. You should watch it. It's very funny.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for being on the show. I love you. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show?